Well, hello, friends and neighbors. John, your whiskey neighbor here. Welcome to the deck. It's a beautiful June day here, and as I said, we're leading up to Canada Day, so I want to talk Canadian whiskey. We're going to go very different than last weekend. This weekend, we're going to talk about a smaller craft distillery that's distilling single malts. So when we get back, I'm going to talk about all three of these, but we're going to focus this review on Shelter Point. This is a single malt whiskey. Special bottle for Wine and Beyond, aged, I think finished in French oak casks, 57.5%. We'll talk Shelter Point when we get back. 3, 4. Thanks for staying with me. As I was trying to say in the opener, the Canadian whiskey scene is really evolving in the last 10 years to include a lot of smaller distilleries. And a lot of them are experimenting in kind of non-traditional whiskey for Canada. Very traditional whiskey. This is single malt. It's 100% barley. And Shelter Point on Vancouver Island has been doing it right for a little while. So what I have here is these are both single barrel picks for Wine and Beyond. This one, I think it's just finished, but maybe it's aged entirely in French oak. I don't know. All of these are natural color. All of them are non-chill filtered. These two, as I said, are single barrels. This one's just ex-bourbon. And this on the end is called the Forbidden, and it's 100% wheat, and I haven't even opened it. But it's on sale this weekend at Father's Day, so I thought better at least taste it in case you want to get it for Dad tomorrow. Starting with this first one, Shelter Point, finished in French oak or aged in French oak. I know it's about 6 years, and the French oak is an ex-wine cask, hence the significant color difference, even though they're both about the same age. Let's talk this French oak one. This clearly is a wine cask. It's rich, dark fruit, but spicy. Yeah, the fruit is actually, when I said rich, dark, I mean rich, thick, jammy, pudding type, kind of a nose that makes you go, okay, let's try the palate. Cheers. Wow. That is delightful. As I said, it's only about 6 years old, and at 57.5% in the little younger age, it is pretty aggressive. It does hug in your throat, does even get down into your chest, but the flavors are fantastic. This is almost a sweeter malt, but still thick and clearly significantly influenced by a spicy oak. There's a lot of oak tannins and wood tannins, and a coffee, espresso, dark fig fruit. I know they release a regular French, like X, I think it's Pinot Noir they use for that. They might have done that here, but X wine French oak cask to finish their single malt, and that's regularly on the shelf. I haven't had it. But if it's anything like the single barrel, it's like if you like thick, chewy wine finish, this is really good whiskey. I've only had a few drams, but every time I come here, I'm experiencing that rich, dark espresso, coffee, dark chocolate, fig, spice, oak. There's just so many layers on this. It's an absolute treat. If you can get this single barrel, it's an easy 4.5 stars for me. It's a fantastic Canadian single malt. Okay, if you're still with me, and I haven't been too exuberant around Shelter Point, I want to try next another single barrel. It's a bit stronger. I think it's 58.1%. This one I know just lived in ex-bourbon, and it was bottled for Wine and Beyond. This is just a radically different nose. This is very sweet, very honey. little bit of alcohol in there. Yeah, and in comparison, this is that, yep, dark chocolate espresso fruit. This is still pretty strong. It's full in the nose, but it's all of the light toffee, honey, creamy malt. Let's see what it is in the palate. That's really good. That now we've got light citrus, little bit of edge of almost nuttiness. Yeah. There's not spice, but 58, it holds up, it's structured, it's got a bit of oak actually going on now that I'm saying that. This is a more refined dram, and I would say that it's a cleaner style and probably would appeal to more if you want to try out some Canadian single malt. I think just like this, their regular aged in ex-bourbon is going to be a good, rich, enjoyable dram without taking you too far left or right. This French oak one could be a little too heavy on the wine finish, or even those espresso notes can build up. As I said, I wanted to open up the Forbidden. The Forbidden is actually, I wanted it to be something like they weren't allowed to make it, but I think it's named after a hill or a mountain or something in their area. Oh, I don't like these flintlock tops. But it is, again, not chill filtered, natural color, but it is 100% wheat. This one's only 47%. That's still a good percentage, but compared to these two that are high 50s. Pour a little, and we'll talk about this, the Forbidden. So of these three out here, it's certainly closer to the ex-bourbon single malt. But in comparison, it is lighter, a little more caramel. Maybe getting a light pear out of it. See how it is in the palate. Cheers. I've had a few 100% wheats in my time. And of course, I need to let that open up in the glass to really appreciate it. Like even a young whiskey, 6-year-old, give it 5-10 minutes for sure. So there's a little bit of ethanol in here, but it definitely has a almost a doughy, something like that I get from many full wheat or 100% wheat. Interesting though. A little more sugars, a little sweeter. Again, a little light pear. There's a bit of oak, a bit of structure coming in on the edges. It's good. Of these three, it's my least favorite. Now, these are barrel picks and proofs and whatnot, and so they kind of probably overwhelm. But I still would suggest I probably want to start with their house-style regular single malt first. Oh, a bit of spice has come from the Forbidden. You know, I need to give it time to open up. First taste, it's good. Worth a try. But if I was reaching for Shelter Point and if there was another bottle, I might want to try one of these other ones. They're really good. Thanks for staying with me here. And for checking out some other Canadian whiskey, because this is very different than typical Canadian whiskey. Single malt, 100% wheat, but a great example of a distillery that, and I know they grow their own grain, or most of it. I think they're family owned, and you know, they're smaller, and they're really producing a quality craft spirit that's, you know, you pay a little more for that kind of premium, but they're not as expensive as some, and their spirit is, I think the base is 6. Like this Forbidden, I think I went to the website, 6.5. I think they're getting a little up there. They can start to play to that 6 to 8 year, which is pretty good. You guys, I hope you're having a great weekend. And if your dad is still around, I hope you at least reach out and say something to him, or if you can, spoil him with a little bit of whiskey. I hope my kids do something similar. You guys have a great weekend.